This video is some design notes and general comments on my most recent project, being the first project that's gone through a first prototype. This is, with all its printed parts shown, the AM23. It's a full-size flywheel Filato dart blaster with a proprietary magazine. There is a version I made of it that will take standard Nerf mags, but as you can see, the reason I didn't want to do that was because I'd have to in order to make that more aesthetically pleasing, I'd have to flip the internals upside down. And it was easier to just have the wire leads up top and all the spinny stuff at the bottom with the barrel, and it made it easier for Rock and Lock magazines to work. The whole thing is there's a little tab you can see there. It catches onto a piece of the receiver, and then you rotate the magazine backwards, and this other tab gets caught by this mag release, which is held in by some elastic. Most of this project will use 440 sized screws, all 10 millimeters in length. I wanted to make a universal screw type that is available with most of the Captain Slug and Silly blasters. The stock only takes 4 screws, which lock into this back piece. Slides into this back piece, you screw it on, and the butt plate is friction fit, which will have absolutely enormous room for whatever battery you want. I have designed it to just fit a 5 amp hour lithium battery. Another option is to store it in the dust cover, though there's much less room there. The magazines will use standard Nerf springs, and there is a place on this blaster which will require a pin. The standard version will just require a 15 millimeter pin to go for the mag release. Alternatively, you could make a pin that you could print out. I might even add it to the files. This one requires a longer pin to go through the magazine well. And this is effectively its final design. You can imagine where the barrel and gas tube will go. So this is effectively what it looks like. And alternatively, depending on what reactions I get from the community at large, I could add Picatinny rail, potentially a rear iron sight. I added a little front post to this to make it at least a little bit easier to aim. I was mostly expecting, I wasn't really designing this to be that good for attaching attachments. I mostly just wanted to get something out there. Also, using FreeCAD is a bit of a pain. But yeah, I won't publish the design until I have one in hand, which will likely take a few months for me to fully acquire the resources necessary. I might just have to wait till next year. But given what you see right here, also just note the way you mount the third switch, you're supposed to take a tiny little 10 amp micro switch and position it in such a way that you can see a cutout in the wheel. Basically, when the wheel spins, the button on the switch will be pressed, and the The button on the wheel will be pressed, and thus it will keep going until the button is no longer depressed. That way you can have a full rotation each time. It works the same way as a rapid strike, except instead of normally closed, it's normally open. So you just have to think of a rapid strike wiring guide and swap like 2 or 3 wires. Other than that, I am mostly done, except the barrel and gas tube take standard Nerf faux barrel. Other than that, just 16 gauge wire, put an XT60 in. The XT60 will not fit through this channel, so solder it separately from the wires. And make sure it's long enough to go out the back of the stock. The stock is meant to be all one piece, printed vertically. The dust cover is one piece. The pusher block and flywheel block are separate. The grip is in 2 clamshells, which you screw together and then screw into the blaster. Handguard is all one piece. The magazine is 2 halves that you screw and glue together. Just a tiny bit of glue at the front locking tab, that's all. And then drum spring, like I said. Other than that, if you have any comments or concerns, please comment on the video or email me or whatever, and I might add them in. Once again, I won't publish this until I have tested that the files are in good condition. This is mostly just a mock-up. I will likely build it soon enough, but I am not entirely sure, so just look out for that in the future. Other than that, there isn't much to say, so I hope you look forward to this project as much as I do.